Hi, I'm Elizabeth Gearhart with Fireside. I'm here with Fred Taffer with Tonbo Visual Promotions. Hey, Fred, what do you do?
Hey Elizabeth, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good. And what we do is we make people happy. Now you're probably saying to yourself, how do they make people happy? Well, we do that by producing and supplying a diverse array of print and promotional products and services that exceed clients' expectations, all done on time, on budget, and with minimum hassle to the client. And as a bonus, we have lots of fun doing it.
Excellent. So, if I am looking for promotional products for my business, how do I choose a company for that?
Well, you want to find somebody that's going to fit your needs and be able to work with you, somebody who understands your business, somebody who has some deep industry knowledge and can help you find the right product. So we have what we call our MVP service. We help you put the right message on the right vehicle and get it to the right person. That's our MVP service. And with our 29 years plus of experience, we're pretty good at matching up products and ideas that'll work to the client's needs.
And so, who are your typical clients?
Well, our clients range all over the board, everything from mom and pop shops up to professional sports teams and Fortune 100 companies. We're a certified minority business, so it's helped us get in with a lot of corporations that need the diversity spend. And other than that, it's all been referrals, and we work with several professional sports teams in football, basketball. Just did our first job for the Chicago Cubs, so now we're into baseball as well, and as well as professional soccer. And then our other big avenues we work with are nonprofits and associations, as well as people in the insurance field. So insurance companies and financial companies are really good, not only referrals for us, but great clients for us to work with.
So, how are you a minority owned business?
My partner is a Japanese American woman. So because of her status as an Asian Pacific Islander, we were able to become a minority supplier.
Well, that's excellent. So,
Yeah,
if I am looking for a minority owned promotions business, I can call you.
that is correct. That is,
Great.
and even if you're not looking for minority owned business, you can call us.
I can
You're just
call
looking to give someone your business, we'll take it.
you. Yeah. So, what sets you apart? Why do your clients like working with you?
Well, the best feedback we get is that we're easy to work with, no hassle. We know what we're doing, and we always meet and exceed their expectations.
So, what if I need promotional products for an event that's happening next week? Can I get those from you?
In most cases, there is always something we can do for you. It might not be the exact product you want because, unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the manufacturers. But we usually find a workaround and usually are able to come up with a solution for folks so that they can get their stuff to a meeting on time.
That's excellent. I mean, if you can't figure it out a month ahead of time, then you get what you get. But
Well, I mean, just like you said, we get calls a lot of people will call us like on a Friday and say, I need something by Friday. And they're going to a trade show or something. And I'm always thinking, you signed the agreement for the trade show at least 6 or 8 months ago, and you're just remembering on Monday that you need to bring promotional items to your event on Friday. But that's okay with us. As long as we can find the manufacturers to do it, we're happy to get it done.
so if somebody is going to a trade show, can you ship the items to the trade show? Do you have to ship them to the person? Like,
We can ship them wherever they want to go. We can ship them to the trade show. We can split ship them between the office and the trade show. And of course, now because of the time we're in with the pandemic and everything, everybody working from home, the last year we have spent a lot of time sending packages out directly to people's homes. And that's been everything from in the beginning, of course, it was a lot of PPE, and then it turned into like fun, like games and food and just things to take the either their employees or their clients' minds off what was going on. And so, yes, we ship anywhere and all around the world. As a matter of fact, we have some clients that we ship stuff to pretty much every continent for.
wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it is. It is.
What's your best selling product?
Oh, that's all over the board. People always ask me that, like, what's the hot trend? What's the best thing? And it's just like technology changes so quickly nowadays. It's almost the same in the promotional world because technology is very big. A lot of companies want to use a technology item, a battery pack or a charger or something like that. So I would say for the last couple of years, technology's been our biggest selling products.
Okay, so everybody wants the new promotional products,
They do. They do.
right? Um, so can you give me an example of a company that you worked with, maybe even one that needed a rush order, where you really helped them pick the right product? Maybe not the rush order then, but so if I come to you and it's a law firm or it's an accounting firm or it's an ice cream seller, whatever, what's the process there?
So what happens is we start with a conversation. We talk about what it is they're trying to achieve, who their target audience is, and what their budget is. Once they tell me that information, then I take probably maybe a day, maybe a couple of hours, depends on how quick we're trying to get something done, of course. And
Right.
I'll send a presentation of items that we think will work for what they're trying to do, and then they can select from those items. So one thing we just did recently, we had a client. So we do a lot of print work as well, and we had a client was putting an appeal out, and their appeal got sidetracked and got to us really late, but they had to have it in people's mailboxes by a certain date because of one of the funders that gave them money. That was their stipulation. You've got to deliver by this date. So we were able to turn the job around in about a half to a little less than half the normal time that it took. We got it done. It got delivered. Everybody was happy.
Wow, that is good. I mean, oftentimes marketing departments are running up against a deadline and this is something they haven't thought about or just couldn't get agreement on or whatever. And
Yeah.
so there are a lot of last minute things, and you don't necessarily want to go with the same old here, have a pen.
Right. Right. You know, it's funny that you say that because usually when somebody calls me up and they say they want a pen, my
uh,
first question is why?
yeah.
You know, because people think, and there are certain cases where a pen is the perfect item to use.
Hmm.
But a lot of people, and especially people who are a little newer to buying products or to working in that kind of space, they think, oh, a pen has our name on it. Somebody's going to pick it up at the diner. They're going to call me. And it's like, no, nobody's going to call you because of the pen. You need to kind of like wrap a whole program around that so that they understand what you do. And the pen might be a byproduct of that program.
Right.
You know, like if you're a mortgage company or you're a insurance underwriter and you come to somebody's house and you do all the paperwork and stuff, then it's like, yeah, leave a pen with them, but a nice pen. Don't buy a 69-cent pen after they just signed a $2,000 deal with you, you know, and think that that's all great. So we try to advise what the best products are for what their need is.
So, as I probably told you, so my husband owns his own law firm. He does intellectual property, patents, trademarks, copyrights. So we always try to be as cutting edge on everything as we can. So if I came to you and said, wow, we're finally going to do an in-person event again on what IP do you need for your growing business, and we're going to have 30 people there, and I need something impressive, what would you advise me? And I have like maybe $1,000. What would you advise me to do off the top of your head?
Well, that's a good question. So typically, I would think about that a little bit. I'd want to know, and you did just tell me it was for like intellectual property attorney, and I assume that people coming to attend were people who are looking to learn more about intellectual property, or they want to hire the firm, that kind of thing. So I would try to give them an item or suggest you an item that the person that you want to connect with is going to have that item in their hand at the time that you want them to be thinking about you,
Ah,
right? So, like a bank might have a checkbook cover. So, when the person's writing the check, they're thinking about the bank, right?
right.
So, if they're at a meeting about intellectual property, we're going to find something that may be a little different that that person might pick up to use right when, and then be like, oh, that reminded me, I need to call the law firm. So, that's what we try to do.
So maybe an idea book or something like a,
Yeah, possibly a journal, you know, possibly a messenger bag, you know, maybe some kind of technology piece.
okay. So,
So that could be all over. So we have done work for another intellectual property firm, law firm, and he does some technology, some battery chargers, and he also does a pen. But he uses his pen a little differently. He doesn't just hand it to everybody. I think he actually uses it when people sign with him, and then he gives them the pen. So it's a little bit of a nicer pen that he uses.
yeah, you make a point about pens. I know this is kind of silly, but you want a really good pen that works. And I actually have a pen, and I don't remember the name. I think it was a bank, and I love this pen. And I'm like, I wish, um, So yeah, so for your heart laws needs, I think it would take a sit down. It would take a longer discussion and a real investigation of what we were doing and what the needs were. So you're
Yeah.
willing to put that time in, it sounds like.
Yes. Well, that's what we do for pretty much every client is, when they come to us and they just go, oh, we're doing a walk for lupus coming up. We need something to give to the walkers. What do you recommend? And then we work on the budget. And the reason that we ask what the per piece budget is, a lot of people, I haven't had this happen to me recently, but early on in my career, people would always be like, well, why do you want to know my budget? You're just going to charge me whatever I tell you that is. And I explained to them, like, no, there's probably 100,000 products similar to what you want. So we need to know what price range you're in so that you're not getting a $150 Mont Blanc pen when you really needed a $1.29 Sharpie pen or something.
Exactly. So do you have repeat clients?
Oh, yes, we do. That we've built our whole business on that. It's all referrals, all repeat clients. One of the things I'm most proud of, we've been in business 29 years. We have some of the same clients from when we started.
Wow.
And most of our clients have probably been with us, I'd say 15 years. And then, of course, we keep adding new clients in, but they tend to stay with us. And another thing we're really proud of is people will leave a job and they'll go somewhere else and they'll call us to come work with them at their new job. And then most of the time we end up staying at the old company. So
Wow.
we have one client, she's left, like, I think she's worked at 3 or 4 different companies, brought us to us all. So about every 2 years I write her and I say, hey, you ready to switch jobs again? We're looking for new clients. I've been working with her for over 20 years, so I could say something like that. I wouldn't just normally just blurt that kind of stuff out, but she's become a good friend and she always gets a kick out of it and laughs at me and you know.
Well, and so I'm assuming that you keep a file of everything they've bought in the past. So if they say, hey Fred, this particular item worked extremely well for us because we get another run of these, then you know exactly what they're talking about. You don't start
Correct.
from scratch,
Correct.
right?
Correct. So every client is listed. Every job we do for every client is listed under their name on our database. Tells us exactly what we did, when we did it, and what it cost.
Oh, great.
And then
So
we just confirm if it's been like a couple of years since we did something, we'll confirm whether pricing changed or not, or if the item's still available, or if anything changed on it. And otherwise, we just reprint or redo whatever it is that they need.
so how many clients do you think you've had in 29 years?
A lot, like over 1,000 easily, and
Wow.
probably more than that. And we probably have about, I'm going to say about 150 active clients right now. And that could be somebody who does a job with us once a year or somebody who does several jobs a week with us. I group into all that. I was just recently, and we do a lot of nonprofits, and I was just recently asked how many we work with. So we actually counted, and we have 41 nonprofit clients, which really surprised me because I was just going to guess. I was going to say, I don't know, around, 15 or 20. And I'm like, you know what? I should just look. And I did a quick, look through our database, and it was 41 of them. And of that, probably 25 to 30 are regular clients to this day.
Well, and nonprofits have to justify every penny they
They
spend.
do. They do.
So it must be a good deal for them. It must bring them more business, but
Well,
not.
one of the things I hear from them is the fact how easy we make it on them. So we have a couple nonprofits who the executive director is always like, my board keeps telling me to shop this stuff. And I'm telling them there's no way I'm shopping anything because I know if I call Fred or Tonbo up on the phone, the job's going to get done on time. And I didn't have to spend a lot of time worried about it. And my time's more valuable than maybe the few pennies a piece or whatever it may be that they might charge over somebody who I spent 2 hours trying to search and find.
I agree 100%. Like if you have a vendor that you know is reliable and that you can work with and that you like and that gives you product that fits your needs, I don't see any reason to change. Like,
Right.
and
One of the studies that I read that one of the governing organizations of the promotional products industry put out, pricing was down of the top 10 things people look for in a promotional product supplier. Pricing was like 7 or 8.
what was number one?
It was like on time delivery, quality products, good imprints on stuff, all the things you would think, making sure the product was right for what they're trying to do. There's a lot in our industry. There's a lot of order takers. There's a lot of people who they just want to write an order. They don't care what you're buying. Just buy anything from me, and it's all good. We look at it as we want to start good business relationship with somebody, and we want them to be here in 15 or 20 years. So we're very honest with them. Sometimes people call me up and be like, I need 50,000 of this. And I'll be like, why would you need 50,000 of something when you're a like 10-person company and that's going to be sitting in your file in your storage closet in 2 years? You're going to throw it out and then you're going to be mad at me for selling it to you. So I said, I'd rather see you buy this and, I'll give you the best pricing I can on it and use a quantity that's going to work for you. And don't just get sucked into the more I buy, the cheaper it is. Because it's not any cheaper for you if it's sitting in a cabinet and it's not doing what it's supposed to do.
So, what is the most important reason for a company to use promotional products?
To keep their brand out in front of people and to keep a clear and consistent image throughout everything that they do. So that brings me to what we do company stores, and a company store is like e-commerce sites. So we have some for printing and we have some for promotional items. And most of the companies that we do those for are national companies. So they have sales or marketing people or whomever all around the country. And what it does is it helps keep a consistency to their brand. So the guy in New York, the guy in California, the guy in Colorado, they're all getting the same items. They look the same. Nobody had an opportunity to change the logo because it was more convenient for them. And it just really helps keep that brand awareness to people and keep it the same throughout.
Which is so important. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's very important.
I mean, if you look for the golden arches anywhere
Exactly.
across the country, they all look the
Exactly.
same.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So really keeping your branding consistent is huge.
It is.
And so that's a really great service that you give those companies.
It is, and we go even a little step further is whenever we start, and it's usually the corporations that have this. A lot of small business don't have it, but one of the first things we ask for when we engage with somebody is their graphical standards. So we try to understand what it is they want and need, how their look is supposed to be, and there's been many times over the years where we've had to stop somebody from doing something and say this does not meet your company's criteria. And then they're usually like, oh, I don't care, do it anyway. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that without me getting your boss's approval. And then they understand. Of course, they get a little upset because they just want to do their thing and be done. But the company that hired us, they're very happy that we do that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of the attorneys wanted to have a black background for the business cards when normally we would use white. And it looked pretty cool and everything, but it just really was not part of the branding. It did
Right.
not go with the rest of the branding of the law firm. So we said no.
It happens a lot. People are always trying to make their own business cards or their own item with like, oh, just change the logo to this color or do that. And it's like, but that's not your standards and that's not what your company wants out there. So
Right.
we have one of the stores that we do for printed materials, all the business cards. So our site, our print site's set up so you can go on there, type all your information in, and a proof will automatically pop up to show you what everything's going to look like. So
Mhm.
that person approves it, but then that has to go to human resources so
Mhm.
that they can make sure that the person didn't change their title. They didn't make themselves vice president when they're a manager. They didn't stray away from how the look of the card's supposed to be or anything like that. So in some cases, it's a little more involved. In other cases, people just approve it. It automatically goes right to our presses, and the jobs get printed and shipped out.
Excellent. So it sounds like you're the guy to go to for promotional products.
Absolutely.
And
And printed materials and programs and just everything that kind of ties your business around. What I say to people a lot of times is you go to the marketing strategist and they tell you what you need to do, but
Mhm.
they don't help you do it. So once you're done and you know what you need to do, then you come to us and we'll do the actual production end of it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So is there anything else we need to know about Tonbo Visual Promotions?
No, I think I pretty much told you about everything we do. Just remember that we're a fun company to work with. We're very professional. We get the job done, and we love new clients.
Okay. Well, thanks, Fred.
You're welcome, Elizabeth. Appreciate it very much.